Shalom. This is your brother Hawud, and I will do another beautiful reading for you guys. Before I start, I want to, y'all know what's about to happen. It's going to get dark, of course, because I'm going to set my phone down. But I just want to make a couple things, just put it out there. If you want me to continue to, be able to make videos like I've been doing, besides them blocking and banning me and stuff, and, and reading literature that I have to purchase. If you want to donate to me, my Cash App is $GREG, G as in goat, R as in Robert, E as in Eric, G as in goat. The letter A as in apple, 29. Again, my Cash App is $Greg A 29. If you want to donate, because a lot of times, I can't afford to sit here and make videos because sometimes I work till about 1-2 o'clock in the morning. Like, I'll get up. Like right now, I'm taking a little break, but I'll get up at 6 in the morning, go start a job that I'm doing, then go to and stop that job around 2, and then go to another job that I'm doing, and I'll work there till about 8 or 9, and then like right now, currently I'm working in an empty, which is a house that's not occupied, and I'll be in there till almost 1-2 in the morning. Then I'll come home, lay down, get back up, and do it again. And sometimes I burn out, and that's when I can't get up. You know what I'm saying? And usually I like it to try to make it fall when the Sabbath is. And for y'all that don't know, the Sabbath does change. It's not Saturday all the time. It's by the moon phases. So I'm just putting it out there. But yeah, so that's what goes on, and so sometimes I can't. I don't have the strength. Sometimes I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing that people don't understand, especially like when I talk, like even like dealing with my, me and my wife is in 2 different houses, but even with dealing with her, like it's like she don't understand that people don't want to pay. So you give people prices, they want to haggle you, and this is only dealing with melanated men. We're the ones that go through the hell. Because a Caucasian man can go give a person that looks just like me a price, and they will bite and say, okay, sir, and there's no problem. But then when it's me, and let's say I try to get the same price, nah, I'm not paying you for that. You know what I'm saying? And then once I'm done, when say I drop the price down or whatever, then once I finish the work, or I'm near the end of the work, now all of a sudden they're pressuring you. And this happens all the time. They'll start pressuring you. And the crazy thing is, you can be almost 2 to almost 3 weeks ahead of schedule, and they will pressure you like you're behind. Yeah, you just don't know. Like, we go through a lot with our own people, and then they'll try to start like playing with the money. You know what I mean? Like, so how I do my work is I'll write you a total contract for a total number. Then what I would do is break the work down into phases. So, if I got to gut it out, that's one contract. When I start framing, that's another contract. When I run wire and do plumbing, that's another contract. And it's always a third down, blah, blah, blah. And I do it like that so, I have control and track of the money. And also, our people love to try to sneak stuff in. Like, they'll come in, they come to do the work, you speak to everybody, and they'll say, hey, can you tighten that screw up right there? Oh, my door is loose, can you do this? And you'll try to be a nice person and do it, and then turn around. Now all of a sudden you're putting up a whole door for free because of you saying, I got you. So you gotta watch that. Like, I got a leak right here, can you just tighten that up for me? And when you just do that, it turns to just a whole lot more. Because once you do that, now they're going to try to say you did it, you broke it, so now you got to fix it. You got to be careful dealing with our people. I hate to be the one to say it, but that's how it is, y'all. Like this last job I just did, this man kitchen, they told this man $50,000 to gut his kitchen out, to tile his floor, to sheetrock, put in cabinets, put up high hats. That's it. I go in this man's house, I charge him $27,000 to do what they said and 10 times more. So he had a basic flat ceiling, flat walls, nothing. So I built soffits going around, pretty much like I couldn't think of the name of it, but you have so he had a metal support on the side of his kitchen, right where you come into the dining room. So I took that and I boxed it out. I put his light. He had the light switches were where were they at? They were like, where were those things at? They were. Oh yeah, they was on the other wall, all the way on the other side of the room. So I took all the light, ran everything over to the wall. As soon as you come into the dining room area to go into the kitchen, that beam, I boxed it out. I made it a nice square pillar, and off of that pillar, I made a soffit go down the side and down the front. So it's like a L, right? To separate the kitchen from the dining area. Nice size soffit. So off of that soffit, in the soffit, I put lights, right? And they connected to the pillar that I made, that I boxed out and everything. And I put decorative trimming, in the center of it and everything. I hooked it up. It turned out really nice. So off of the wall, where if you come into the dining room, you can walk along the soffit, but right there from the back door all the way across, I ran cabinets. So you looking at about, how many was it? 1, 2, 6 cabinets, which came off of a wall and straight into an island. They were all connected. And then above it, of course, I ran upper cabinets, wall cabinets. Then from where the island is, you turn around, you walk back towards the window. That's where his sink and stuff at. So we ran cabinets there, base cabinets, drawer cabinets, and wall cabinets, right in that section. Then when you turn and you're going like you're leaving out of the kitchen, on this one wall, there's a set of steps to your left. The basement door is to your right. It's a nice size wall, and then you can walk out and go into the dining room and then go to the rest of the house. But that wall, I put 2 pantry cabinets, center cabinet, slid the refrigerator in, put a water line in the wall, hooked it up for the man. The steps, I don't know, because he had these steps where when you come downstairs, you can either turn left to go into the kitchen or right to go into his living room. So I don't know who he said he got to do them steps, but whoever did it needed to be slapped. So I took the steps down, I redid the steps, put brand new steps in, brand new visors, treads, everything. Everything was new. Brand new staggers, the whole thing. Trimmed them out and everything, right? In the center where off of the soffit, the roof raises up, the ceiling raises up. So in there was 3 lights going across, 3 and 3 hi-hats, and in the center, a nice decorative light. That now the hi-hats, so the hi-hats that was in the soffit, they were on their own switch. The ones that was in the center, where the actual ceiling of the kitchen is, that's raised up, they were on their own switch. And then the nice decorative light that was in the middle was on its own switch. Now you could buy the double switch with the dimmer, or you can also get the switch that has 3 different switches on it. I'm just saying, I gave them the option or whatever. So then, the soffit I'm talking about, where the cabinets come off of that long wall, and there's 6 or 7 of them. There he put his rain jet, and my fault. And also the wall coming off of the back door, there was an oven cabinet there. So I put that in, mounted it, slid the oven in and everything like that. So he had a wall oven cabinet too. So back to the cabinets that runs off the wall straight to an island. So those walls, I put a countertop range in there, and right in the middle of that soffit, I ran the exhaust vent coming out, going around the soffit and exiting through, the rear wall. So actually would be the side wall where the actual sink, the original sink and everything was, which, we just did it over. Well, I did it over. I ain't gonna say we. So, right, and so we got the exhaust fan that actually comes down like a, I guess like a, it's like, I forgot the name of it, but it's a stainless steel. It's got a square body, comes down, then it fans out, something like an umbrella. Can't remember the name of it. So you got that. I installed it, hooked it up. It's directly over top of the range, and on to the left and to your right, about 8 to 10 inches away, but no, about a foot. They bought these nice decorative lights that hung down a little bit lower than the range. Turned out really nice. So, then I tiled the floor like a dark. It was like a charcoal gray tiles. They were long but really narrow, and I staggered them. So I tiled the floor. When after I tiled the floor and everything, I trimmed up everything pretty much. And he had got like a white with gray. It was a really nice granite countertop, really nice, different. You don't see it in everybody's house. It has a little splash of red in it. It really made everything stand out, because his cabinets were like a cherry oak, or dark cherry oak. So it made everything really stand out. It made everything pop. And he painted his walls like a light gray. So you had dark floor. Only thing I didn't like, he wanted black grout. I didn't like the grout, but he wanted so I did the floors like a dark charcoal with black grout. He had like these cherry oak, dark cherry oak cabinets. He painted the walls like a light gray. Everything was stainless steel. And his appliances and stuff like that. And I did the pillar which started the soffit, and then at the other end, where the cabinets come off and run into the island, which they still were connected, I made a half a pillar, the same exactly, line parallel with the other one. So it wasn't a little bit in front, it wasn't a little bit behind. It was, it looked like it came there. So, and I did the same thing as far as like with the decorative. I got a bad memory when it comes to saying words, like saying things or whatever. So, they were pretty much identical and everything. So, after I finished the whole job, I charged him at $27. And they were, they was like, wow, like they really, they couldn't believe what I transformed their kitchen into. So he's calling me, telling me people, love the kitchen and they want to do work or whatever. And I asked him, is this your family? And he said, well, some is my family. And I told him, I said, you know what? No, thank you. And he said, why? I told him, I said, you put me through pure hell. I said, not one time was I late. I said, not one time I didn't show up. I said, I never bought nothing. You never did. Not one item that I had purchased from the store was over anything. So you didn't have any leftover material or anything. I said, I was on the up and up with you all the way through this job. And I said, and you put me through pure hell. I said, I expected it from your wife because I understand how women, women get a little crazy when they come to work. I said, but you as a man, I said, nah, I will never work for you or anybody that you recommend to me. And he was like, why would you? I said, you had a white man come and put in a door for you. I said, come to find out, your wife slipped up and told us that y'all paid almost $10,000 for a damn, what are those doors called? Like a vestibule door, the sliding doors. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I forgot what they call them. I said, between the door and the labor, I said, you paid the man a day in advance. I said, while the man was there, you did not go back there and bother that man, not one time. When the man went to the store to get stuff or whatever, you did not bother him. I said, every contract I gave you, it stipulated the same thing. I said, when I go to the store to get the material, only thing you had to do is pay over the phone, like, a phone sale, right? While I'm buying the stuff, you want to ask me why I'm buying it, what I need it for. I said, you cost me so much time in the store. And I told him, I said, this is why I told you, from now on, I will get the stuff, put it on the cart. You have to go get it yourself. I said, then with the part, the straw that broke the camel's back is when we ordered that skittered towel. And you knew I was by myself. And I said, and you left me there while I had to unload a skittered towel onto my truck by myself. Now, my thing is this. I'm here to do work. I'm not a laborer. You know what I'm saying? And like I told him, I don't have a problem with picking up material, but you have to make sure you help because I'm not charging you to pick up this material. He had no problem with it. That's what he said. But when it came to that skid towel, that man disappeared on me. When I got that skidded towel back to the house, I had to take that whole skid in by myself. You talking about over 30-something boxes of towels, right? I think it was like 43, almost 50 boxes that I had to carry in by myself. And I'm not talking about no little square box. I'm talking about big, long boxes. So, and then, it was in the summer. It was hot as hell. So now I'm burnt out. I'm tired, right? Because I had to do this. Then on top of that, then the people came and delivered the cabinets. And you never said nothing to me about them delivering the cabinets. So they left them on the sidewalk. I'm in there carrying, y'all, I'm quite sure anybody do this work, you know how big pantries are. So I'm in here picking this shit up, carrying all these cabinets. You talking about 32 cabinets. Carrying all these cabinets into this house by myself. So finally, when I get everything done and get it all situated and neat and out the way, they come in. So they see the sweat running down me. It look like somebody throw a bucket of water on me. I tell him, I'll be back tomorrow. He says, why? I said, what do you mean? I said, I just brought all this stuff in here. You were nowhere to be found. I said, you knew this stuff was being delivered and y'all purposely disappeared so I would have to do this by myself. Oh, no, bro, it wasn't like that. I said, well, guess what, boss? My body hurting and I'm tired. And I'm not going to sit down and do more work and I can't even hold myself up. That's why I don't like hiring black people. This is what he says to me. So it took everything inside me not to punch him in his fucking mouth. Excuse my French. You know. So I ignored him. I got my stuff and I left, right? Told them I'll see them tomorrow morning. So now, let's fast forward. I get down to the last contract, which is the finishing work. Give them the number. Matter of fact, no, wait a minute. The last contract was actually installing all the cabinets and the finishing work, right? So as I'm doing this stuff, after I give them the contract that night, actually I gave it to them 2 days in advance. So they had days to look over it and everything like that. Nothing. Nobody said anything. It was no problems. They said, all right, cool. That's what I was told by the wife, right? So now I get there in the morning. I get on my thing. I start in putting the cabinets up on the wall and everything, and get ready to start putting in the bottom cabinets. But I always put my upper cabinets first, so I have to lean over the bottom cabinets. So I'm up there installing the cabinets, marrying them to each other, make sure everything's straight, plumb, leveled, and everything, right? Correct height, all that. So I'm doing this. Now, the thing is, when it came to the money, I had somebody actually dealing with them when it came to the money, so I didn't have to have that on my mind. So I'm like 17 cabinets installed totally. Because I take the doors off and everything when I'm installing wall cabinets and all. So that way nothing gets damaged and all that. So you talking about me, cabinets on the wall, doors back on, shelves and everything, right? They married together. Everything is done. And the lady calls me, the lady that handles the money, the situation, when they send the payment. So they know they're supposed to send this payment in the morning before I started. So it's like about 1 o'clock. She calls me. She says, did they give you any money? I said, no, they're supposed to give it to you. Why would they give it to me? She says, well, I haven't received the payment. I said, so why did you wait till almost the end of the day to call me and let me know? So she was like, well, I'm sorry, whatever. Okay. Being lazy on her part. That's fine. So she calls him or whatever, because the wife was at work. So he tell her, oh yeah, I got the money. So she was like, well, when you gonna send it over? He says, well, I want him to finish the whole job and then I'll pay him. So she was like, excuse me, sir. We wrote you a contract. Y'all signed the contract. The contract stipulates that you have to do X, Y, and Z. She said, now, there were contracts before then that stipulated the same thing. This is nothing new. This is the same way we've been writing the contract, sir. He says, well, that's how I feel. He said, because I can't trust black people. She said, well, if you didn't trust him, why didn't you go hire the white man? And then she told me, she said, oh, I know why, because you were getting more for less. That's why. He's like, no, that's not. She said, yes, it is. She said, that's exactly what it is. She said, just like he told me the other day, you had a leak in his bathroom, and he was trying to ask me, can I take a look at it? And I told him no. I said, no, I'm not doing that. I said, I'm already doing a job. I'm not going to stop and do something else. I said, I'm not doing that. I said, if you want that taken care, when I'm done today, I'll walk over there. I'll take a look at it. I said, but I'm not touching it, and I'll write you up a contract for the work. No, that's okay. So he was trying to get me to do it for free, or try to sucker me into touching it so he can say I broke it. You know what I mean? So I'm hip to that. And he's a snake, right? This man is a snake. So the whole time she's talking to him. So she says, well, he's in there working. He says, I know. Don't call him and tell him I'm not paying him to the job done because I want to keep him working. This is what he told her to do to me, but he don't know her. This is somebody I know, but he tried to get her to go against me, to swindle me. So she calls me, and when I'm talking to her, he leaves, right? So now I'm in their house by myself, and so I call and he won't answer the phone, right? So I pack up. I packed right up. As I'm leaving, his wife sees me, and I kept it moving because my thing was, both of y'all have, you ain't nowhere in the world you don't know what your husband doing, right? So I pack up out road. So the wife called, she called a girl, and she's like, oh, cameras look nice, Usually he stay longer. Why he leave? So is everything okay? She said, no. She said, he ain't received his payment. Your husband's not giving it to him. So she's like, what do you mean? I gave him the money this morning. So she's like, listen, your husband's not paying him. She's like, I don't know what's going on with him, but he's talking about something about giving him the money at the end of the job and this and that and this and keep him working. But like, she told him, like, he tried to tell me to have him, to keep him working so he can get the work done, and like pretty much trying to play me. So the wife like, oh God, this is what the girl told me. The girl told me, like, the wife like, oh my God, here we go. So now when she told me that the wife said that means he does this a lot. He does it all the time. So she calls him, blah, blah. Now he's calling the girl, apologizing and everything, tell him to come back and finish the work. I'll give him the money. I said, so when she called me, I told her, I said, I'm not coming back to work, nothing. I said, he got his work out of me today. I said, no, that's it. I said, and tell them if I don't have my money by tonight, I'm not coming there tomorrow either. Right? So she calls back the wife, and the husband he picked up her phone. I don't know where she went, but the husband picked up her phone. So he calls back his wife. Then he picks up his wife's phone, and she tells him what I said. So now he's trying his best to try to get me to come there without telling her he's still doing the same bullshit. So finally, this was at about 1:30 in the afternoon, almost 2 o'clock. So finally, around 8 p.m., I get a call from the wife, right? Because the wife says something to him. So the girl calls the wife. The wife says something to her husband. The husband says that he's been calling me and I won't answer the phone, which was a lie, right? So finally, she calls me. Now, I don't know this lady number, and I usually don't answer numbers I don't know. I'll let you leave me a message or something. So I answer the phone. So the first thing she does is start apologizing, and I'm like, what are you apologizing for? I said, did you do something to me? She said, no. So she was like, I know I didn't, but, I don't know why he does this to our own people. This is what she says to me. So I'm like, wow. So she says, I thought I had it under control when we made the agreement that I would pay for the labor. He would pay for the material. I said, oh, so this is why he's constantly complaining about the material. Every time we go to, when I was going to go get the material, he want to look at every little piece and find out where it's supposed to go, and had me wasting damn near 2 hours explaining why I got to put a screw right there, you know what I mean, in a piece of sheetrock. Like, this dude really was a pain in the butt, right? And I had him under an 8-week contract. Here, I'm only 5 weeks in, and I'm at the end, and he's driving me crazy, right? Constantly, oh, we behind, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, this is the 5th week. And I'm telling him, like, I said, only thing I got to do today is trim work, and then look over everything, and y'all come check, and then that's that. I said, the only thing I do is put in the trimming, and I'm done. I said, what are you talking about? So he's like, he kept doing it. He would do it all the time. So he didn't even know how far away. He didn't know nothing. He just was really like an asshole. So let me get back to the point. So here it's 8 o'clock. So she said, well, he said he was trying to call you. So what I did was, I said he was. So I went into my phone log, screenshot it from 8 all the way down to 1 something, right? Which wasn't that many calls. Screenshot it and send it to her. I said, you get that text? She said, yeah. I said, look at it. So she looked at it, and there's, it ain't there. So I said, no. And so then I screenshotted all the texts I sent to him to call me. So she's like, oh, wow. So I told her, I said, listen, I don't know what type of stuff he into. I said, but I don't this is business. I ain't got time for all this little childish games your husband want to be playing. I said, and for him to be 50-something years old, he act like a child, like a little boy. So she's like, I'm sorry. Well, can I send it to you, this or whatever, so forth and so on. And so, let me tell y'all this. So he, I forgot this part. I gotta tell y'all this. So right before the wife got in contact with the girl, right after the wife got in contact, he told the girl that they was gonna cash at me the money, right? That's what he said. He said, all right, tell him we gonna cash out the money. Can he come back? That's what he says to her, right? And then he said, and if we can't, I'll just give it to him tomorrow. That's what he says, right? So she calls me and I said, listen, tell him if I don't have my money, I'm not coming back. And I'm not coming back today. That's over with. You made your bed, laying it. You dig me? So now I'm back to talking. So I'm talking to the wife, and I said, well, he told so-and-so, this was around, 3 o'clock, that you was going to cash at me. And then he said, if not, then he'll give it to you tomorrow. I said, there is no if not. If you're going to do it or you're not. Right? So she was like, oh, God, she's like, fucking lying there. She was like, I'm sorry, I wasn't even in the house yet. So I don't know what he's talking about or whatever. She said, but I will do it now. And then she was like, well, I don't even know your thing. So I sent it to her. While we on the phone, bam, she sends the money, right? So she was like, you coming tomorrow? I said, yeah, I'll come tomorrow. So she was like, well, my husband's worried that you mad. I said, nah, I ain't mad. I said, this business. I said, but guess what? I said, a lot of stuff that I've been nice doing for y'all, I'm not doing it no more. I said, when the little stuff that I saw that I was fixing, you know what I mean, that didn't have nothing to do with what I was doing, I'm not touching it. You know what I mean? Like, nope. They even had like this little situation with the back door kept swelling up and they wouldn't close stuff. So I was going to plane it down for them. Yeah, all right. Nope. So, when I tell y'all, it was crazy. And the crazy part was, this is the worst part. So the lady that I had that was dealing with the money, she lived up the street from them. So while they didn't have their kitchen, she was letting these people come up and cook their food in their house, in her kitchen. And this man was literally lying on her and everything. I mean, he was just doing so much. You know what I mean? So, all in all, I get done. Kitchen's immaculate, you know what I mean? She puts it on Facebook, everybody, and I put it on whatever little Facebook people I got. But my boy's actually doing it for me now because I don't have friends on Facebook or nothing because I never dealt with none of that stuff. So my homie, he's the one doing all that stuff now. So, kitchen is beautiful, blah, blah, blah. So now I get this call from him telling me, oh, his friends and them want to hire me. And I said, nope, I don't even care if I need some work. I'm not dealing with that no more. Because I almost couldn't control myself when he was doing, and that was one thing he did, y'all. He did way more than that, and it was worse. So, I'm good. But kitchen immaculate, like beautiful. They thought he paid almost 60-something thousand for all this stuff I did to make it look different. You know what I mean? The sad part is you can't do nothing for our people, man. I mean, it's sad to say, you can't. Most of our people is like the worst. But I'm gonna get into this book. I know I'm sorry for, blowing your eardrums off with my drama. But that's like stuff I gotta go through when I'm working and you know what I mean, trying to make a living and having to deal with our people. A lot of our people are really slimy. So this is the Kolbrin Bible. This is the book of creation. Chapter 1. So what I'm going to do is, there's a little note up top. I'm going to read that, then I'm going to get into it. So, excuse me. It says, extracted from the great book of the sons of fire, an account of the beginning of things and why they are as we find them. All right. Here we go. Mortal knowledge is circumscribed by mortal ignorance, and mortal comprehension is circumscribed by spiritual reality. It is unwise for a mortal man to attempt to understand of that which is beyond his conception. For there lies the road of disbelief and madness. Yet man is man, and ever fated to reach out beyond himself, striving to obtain things which always just elude his grasp. So in his frustration, he replaces the dimly seen, incomprehensible with things within his understanding. If these things but poorly reflect reality, then is not the reflection of reality distorted, though it may be of greater value than no reflection at all. There are no true beginnings on earth, for here all is effect the ultimate cause being elsewhere. For who among men can say which came first, the seed or the plant? Yet in truth it is neither. For something neither seed nor plant proceeded both, and that thing was also preceded by something else. Always there are ancestors back to the beginning and back beyond to their only God. To there is only God, sorry. This then is how these things were told in the great book of the sons of fire. Before the beginning, there was only one consciousness, that the eternal one, whose nature cannot be expressed in words. It was the one soul spirit, the self-generator, which cannot diminish, the unknown, unknowable, one brooding solitary in profound pregnant silence. The name which is uttered cannot be that of this great being who remaining nameless is the beginning and the end, beyond time, beyond the reach of mortals, and we in simplicity call it God. He who preceded all existed alone in his strange abode of uncreated light, which remains ever undistinguishable, and no understandable eye can ever behold it. The pulsating droughts of the eternal light in his keeping were not yet loosed. He knew himself alone. He was uncontrasted, unable to manifest in nothingness. Are you serious? Hold on, y'all. Sorry about that, y'all. People keep, and it's always the same people that keep calling me. If it was some work, I would be all right, but it ain't work. It's somebody, a family member, asking me, can I do something for them? Like, no. You keep calling every time I'm doing a video. Get your behind out the car and do it yourself. It's like when they see my car, oh, let me ask him to go in the house and go do it for me. No. Not your dog. All right, y'all, I'm sorry. That just irritated me. All right, I got lost where I was at. All right, hold on, y'all. Pulsating draughts of eternal life in his keeping were not yet loose. He knew himself alone. He was uncontrasted, unable to manifest in nothingness, for all within his being was unexpressed potential. The great circles of eternity were not yet to be spun out to be thrown forth as the endless ages of existence in substance. They were to begin with God and return to him completed in infinite variety and expression. Earth was not yet in existence. There were no winds with the sky above them. High mountains were not raised, nor was the great river in its space. All was formless, without movement, calm, silent, void, and dark. No name had been named, and no destinies foreshadowed. Eternal rest is intolerable, and unmanifested potential is frustration. Into the solitude of timelessness can divine loneliness, and from this arose the desire to create that he might know and express himself, and this generated the love of God. He took thought and brought into being within himself the universal womb of creation, containing the everlasting essence of slumbering spirit. The essence was quickened by a ripple from the mind of God, and a creative thought was projected. This generated power which produced light, and this formed a substance like unto mist of visible dust. It divided into two forms of energy through being impregnated with the Spirit of God and quickening the chaos of the void. Within the universal womb became spun out into whirlpools of substance. From this activity, as sparked from a fire, came an infinite variety of spirit minds, each having creative powers within itself. The activating words was spoken. It echoes, vibrates still, and there was a stirring movement which caused instability. A command was given, and this became the everlasting law. Henceforth, activity was controlled in harmonious rhythm. You hear that? That rhythm? That's what I was talking about with the frequencies. And the initial inertia was overcome. The law divided the materializing chaos from God and then established the boundaries of the eternal spheres. You notice it says spheres. It's talking about more than one. Remember they talk about the 7 circles or the 9 circles, one of them. Time no longer slept on the bosom of God, for now there was change. where before all had been unchanging, and change is time. Now within the universal womb was heat, substance, and life, and encompassing it was the word which is the law. So this part right here, people think it's talking about another being. But if you paid attention to what I said, it said he spoke. So when the Most High speaks something, he speaks it into existence. So when he spoke his law or whatever he said to control the chaos, he spoke a law like stop, don't go no further than this. That would be a law. Would be a person flying out his mouth saying a word for him and then popping back in. The command was given, let the smallest things form the greatest, and that which lives but a flash form everlastingness. Thus the universe came into being as a condensation of God's thought. See what I'm saying? He had a thought, he spoke it into being. Ain't nobody pop out his mouth and spoke it for him. He did it. So all this they talking about the word was God and with God, and no, he spoke. Ain't no damn man come out his mouth or whatever, or angel or whatever you want to call it. And as it did, so it obscured him from all enclosed within his salifying creation. Henceforth, God was hidden, for he has always remained dimly reflected in his creation. He became veiled from all that came forth from him. Creation does not explain itself under the law. It cannot do so. Its secrets have to be unraveled by the Creator. That means you got to seek the Most High. That's what he tells you. All things are by nature infinite. Oh, my fault. Nature finite. Sorry. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. An unaccomplishable purpose would be eternal frustration. And therefore, the universe being created prosperly, it must have an objective. If it ended without anything else following, then the God existing must slumber indifferent to its activities. But he has made it a living work of greatness, operating under the changeless law. Changeless law. The Most High does not change. So for all y'all talking about this new stuff, it ain't nothing new. We're going right back to the same stuff. We're going right back to the time of David and to the time of Moses, which were those laws. The creating word has been spoken. Now there was another command, and the power going forth smote the sun. So its face was lit, and it shone with a great radiance, pouring warmth and light upon its sister, earth. Henceforth, she would live within the protection of her brother's household, rejoicing in his benevolence and strength. The waters upon the bosom of earth were gathered together, and dry land appeared. When the covering of the water was rolled back, the body of the earth was unstable, damp, and yielding. The face of the sun shone down kindly upon his sister, and the dry land of her body became very hard. Humidity and dampness were taken away. He gave her a garment of fleece and a veil of fine linen, that she might clothe her body with modesty. This is why you women supposed to be modest and clothe yourself and cover your beauty. That's what you're supposed to do. Not show it all off. What happens on earth in the heavens plays out on earth. Down to the smallest minute thing. Even bugs. For the great womb had sprung the spirit of life, and it was rampant in the heavens. It gazed upon the earth and saw her fairness, and was filled with desire, and came out of the heavenly space to possess her. It came not peacefully as a lover, but tempestuously as a ravager. Its breath howled along her corridors and raged among her mountain tops. But it did not discover the dwelling place of her spirit. She had withdrawn, as a woman withdraws before force. For modesty must not be outraged in submission. Yet she desired its embrace, for among all the radiant company she was honored. The sun saw her perplexity, and he wrestled with the spirit of life and overcame it. When it was subdued and the primal struggle had ceased, it was delivered by the sun to his sister. It was chastened and quieted, and in silence brooded over earth's waters, and she was stirred up. She was stirred in response. Mud eggs of life potential were formed in swamps. At the meeting place of land and two waters, the sun gave quickening heat, and life crawled forth upon the bosom of the earth. The land dust brought forth the male, and the dark water missed the female, and they united and multiplied. The first brought forth the second, and the second brought forth the second, and the two produced the third. Sorry, y'all. Earth was no longer virgin, and the spirit of life grew old and departed. Earth was left garbed in a matron's mantle of green. Herbage covered the face of the land. The waters brought forth fishes and creatures, which moved about and twisted themselves and wiggled in the waters. The serpents and the beasts of terrible aspect, which were of the jarl of reptiles, which creeped and crawled. There were tall walking things and dragons in hideous form, clothed with terror, whose great bones may still be seen. Okay, now, you heard what I just said. There were tall walking things and dragons in hideous form, clothed with terror, whose great bones may still be seen. There is no such thing as a fucking dinosaur. They are called dragons. You got some that fly, some that swim, some that walk, some that crawl. There's all forms of dragons. Gotta make that known. Let's go. Then came forth from the womb of the earth all the beasts of the field and forest, all the creatures of creation having blood in their bodies, and it was complete. Beasts roamed the dry land, and fishes swam the seas. There were birds in the skies and worms within the soil. There were great land masses and high mountains, wide barren places and heaving waters. Fertile greenness covered the land, and abundant life swarmed in the seas. For now earth throbbed with the energy of life. Metals lay hidden in her rocks, and precious stones within the soil. Gold, silver was scattered and secreted. There was copper for tools and forests of timber. There were swamps of reeds and stones. For every purpose, everything was prepared. Everything was ready. And now earth awaiting the coming of man. So everything we needed was already here, way before anybody was created. Let's go. So that was the first one. I'm about to get into the second one. It's called the birth of man. All right, so this is part 2. This chapter 2, the birth of man. The love of God penetrated the third veil and became the seed of souls, which within the soul sea. So there's a sea of souls. Ooh, decent. The body of man, God made of water and things of the earth, breathing into him the spirit of life, that he might live. But man, when young, lived only to eat, drink, and fornicate. For being conscious only of the earth, he knew only earthly things and earthly ways. Ain't that the truth? Like I said, ain't nothing new under the sun. Nothing new. Now the Spirit of God moved over the face of the earth, but was not of the earth. It held all things and was in all things, but on earth could not be apart from anything. Without substance, it was awake, but entering substance, it slept. Consider that which was told by the servants of Eben, of heaven man, who once wandered the earth. He had no earthly substance and could not grasp its fruits, for he had no hands. He could not drink its water, for he had no mouth, nor could he feel the cool winds upon his skin. They tell how the ape tribe, Selach, led by the heaven man, perished by flames before the valley of Lod. Probably talking about them damn lot. Only one she-ape reaching the cave heights above. When heaven man was reborn of the she-ape in the cavern of woe. Let me read that again. When heaven man was reborn of the she-ape in the cavern of woe, could he taste the fruits on the earth and drink the waters and feel the coolness of her winds? Did he not find life good? It is not all a tale of the courtyard. Man created from earthly substance alone could not know things not of earth, nor could spirit alone subdue him. Had man not been created, who would have known God's wisdom and power? As the spirit fills the body of man, so does God fill his creation. Therefore, it was that God saw something had to be. Therefore, it was that God saw something had to be which joined earth and spirit, and was both. In his wisdom, and by the creative impulse which governs the earth, he prepared a body for man. For the body of man is wholly of earth. Behold, the great day came when the Spirit, which is God, was joined with the beast, which is earth. Let me read that again, because somebody might be thinking I'm talking about a monkey, because I just read a part that it talks about a heaven man being reborn in an ape woman, or whatever, or yeah. So it says, behold, the great day came when the Spirit, which is God, was joined with the beast, which is earth. Okay? Earth. All right. Then earth withheld in the labor of travail. Her mountains rocked back and forth, and her seas heaved up and down. Earth groaned in her lands and shrieked in her winds. She cried in the rivers and wept in her storms. So man was born of upheaval and strife. He came wretchedly and tumultuously, the offspring of a distraught earth. All was in discord. Snow fell in all the hot wastelands. Ice covered the fertile plains. The forests became seas, which were once it was hot, now it was cold. And where no rain had ever fallen, now there were floods. So man came forth, man, the child of calamity, man, the inheritor of creative struggle, man, the battleground of extremes. Earth nurtured man with cautious affection, weaning him in the recesses of her body. Then, when he was grown sufficiently to be lifted, so he walked in the uprightness of God. She took him and raised him above all other creatures. She led him even into the presence of God, and she laid him on his great altar. A man imperfect of earthly limitations, a thing unfinished, ungainly. Where was that? Oh, ungainly and unlearned, but proudly was he presented to earth's creator. Not her firstborn was man, the son of the earth, the grandchild of God, man, the heir of tribulation, and the pupil of affliction. God saw man, the offering of the earth to her Lord, unconscious, on the high altar, a sacrifice to him, and a dedication to the spirit of fate. Then from out of the unfathomable heights, and from behind the impenetrable veil, God came down above the altar, and he breathed into man the breath of eternal life. Into his sleeping body, God implanted a fragment of himself, the seed of a soul and a spark of divinity, a man. The mortal became man, the heir of God, and the inheritor of immortality. Henceforth, he would have dominion over God's earthly estate, but he also had to unravel the circles of eternity, and his destiny was to be an everlasting seeking and striving. Man slept, but God opened the great eye within him. I know what that is, what you call your kundalini, your third eye. And man saw a vision of unsurpassed glory. He heard the voice of God saying, "O man, in your hand is now placed the tablet of your inheritance, and my seal is upon it. Know that all you desire within your heart may be yours, but first it is necessary that you be taught its value. Behold, the earth is filled with things of usefulness. They are prepared to your hand for a purpose. But as the task is upon you to seek them out and learn their use, this is the tuition for the management of your inheritance. What you know to be good, seek for, and it shall be found. You may plumb the seas and pluck the stars. You may live in everlasting glory and savor eternal delights. Above and below and all about is there nothing beyond your reach. All with one exception is yours to attain. Then God laid his hand upon man, saying, Now you are even as I, except you sleep. There enclosed in matter, in the kingdom of illusion, while I dwell here in the freedom of reality and truth. It is not for me to come down to you, but for you to reach out to me. There it is. The Most High don't come chasing after your ass, begging you to keep his laws. Nah. He gives them to you, and you gotta wanna do it. You gotta seek it out. Ain't no damn, keep talking about something, I'm calling, like, come on, y'all. Like, y'all gotta get out that Christianity shit. And he not begging you to do what's right. That's what they tell you. So you can sound like you are more powerful than what you are now. You gotta seek him and seek his ways. Don't listen to them. They're lying to you. And they're gonna get your ass killed. And if you talking about some fucking hell, nah, you're gonna die. And then you're gonna die again. And that'll be it. That's it. Ain't nobody gonna be over here torturing you. Nope, you're going to die. That's what's gonna happen. Man then saw a vision of glory encompassing even the spheres of splendor. Unbounded wisdom filled his heart, and he beheld beauty in perfection. The ultimates of truth and justice were unveiled before him. He became one with the profound peace of eternity and knew the joys of unceasing gladness. The eternal ages of time unrolled as a scroll before his eyes, and he saw writing therein all that was to become and occur. The great vaults of heaven were opened up unto him, and he saw the everlasting fires and unconsumable powers that strove therein. He felt within himself the stirring of inexpressible love, and unlimited design of grandeur filled his thoughts. His spirit ranged unhampered through all the spheres of existence. He was then even as God himself, and he knew the secret of the 7 spheres within 3 spheres. Then God lifted his hand from man, and man was alone. The great vision departed, and he awoke. Only a dim and elusive recollection, no more than a shadow of a dream, remained. But deep within the sleeping soul, there was a spark of remembrance, and it was generated within man a restless longing, for he knew not what. Henceforth, man was destined to wander, was the discontented, seeking something he felt, he knew, but he could not see, something which continually eluded him, perpetually goaded him. and forever tantalize him. Deep within himself, man knew something greater than himself was always with him, a part of him, spurring him on to greater deeds, greater thoughts, greater aspirations. It was something out beyond himself, scarcely realized and never found. Something which told him that the radiance seen on the horizon was dimly reflected, the hidden glory beyond it. Man awoke, the revelation revelation and vision gone. Only a grim reality of earth's untamed vastness surrounded him. But when he arose and stepped down onto the bosom of his mother, he was undaunted by the great powers that beset him, or by the magnitude of the task. Ahead within his heart, he knew destiny lay beyond the squalor of his environment. He stepped out nobly, gladly accepting the challenge. He was now a new man. He was different. He looked above and saw glory in the heavens. He saw beauty about him, and he knew goodness and things not of the earth. The vision of eternal values arose before his inner eye. His spirit was responding to its environment. Man was now man, truly man. The nature of man on earth was formed after the nature of things in heaven. And man had all things contained as potential within himself, except divine life. But he was as yet an untrained, undisciplined child, still nurtured simply upon the comforting bosom of earth. Man grew in stature, but earth was not undiligent, for she disciplined him firmly. She was ever strict and unyielding, chastening him often with blast of undispleasure. It was indeed the upbringing of one disdain for greatness. He was made to suffer cold that he might learn to clothe himself, sent into barren places that his limbs should be strengthened, and into forests that his eyes should become keen and his heart strong. He was perplexed with difficult problems and set the task of unraveling the illusion of nature. He was beset with hardships on every description. He was tested with frustration and tempted with allurements. Never did earth relax the vigilance of her supervision. The child raised sternly, for he needed the fortitude, courage, and cunning of a man to fit him for the task ahead. He grew woolly and hairy in the hunt. He became adaptable, able to cope with any untoward happening. Overcoming the bewilderments of early days, he found explanations for the perplexities of his surroundings. Yet the struggle of knowledge, the need for adaptation, and the effect to survive were never relaxed. The earth child was well trained and disciplined. He was never unduly mollycoddled. He cried for bread and went hungry. He shivered and was cast out. He was sick and driven into the forest. Weary, weary he was, lashed with storms. Thirsty, he found the wastes dried up. When weak, his burden was increased, and in the midst of rejoicing, he was struck down with sorrow. In moments of weakness, he cried, "Enough," and doubted his destiny. But always something fortified and encouraged him. The earthling never fortified his God-likeness. I meant to say forfeited, not fortified. Sorry, y'all. Forfeited his godness, his God-likeness. For man was man. He was not cowed, nor his spirit broken. A wise God knew his limitations, as it was written in the wisdom of men. Over chastisement is as bad as no chastisement at all. Y'all hear that? Whip those kids' ass. But man was rarely chastised. He was tried, tested, and challenged. He was led, prodded, and urged, yet nothing was done. Unnecessarily, the seeming imperfections of earth, the hazards and equalities of life, the cruelty, harshness, and apparent difference to suffering and affliction are not what they seem, as it is. Earth is perfect for its purpose. It is ignorance of that purpose which makes it appear imperfect. Where is there a wiser father than the Spirit of God, or a better mother than earth? What man is now what man is now he owes to these, may he learn to be duly grateful. Above all, let him never forget the lessons learned of his upbringing. That was awesome. Let me see, is it another one? All right, y'all, read this last one. That's chapter 3. There's actually more, but... Or do y'all want me to get into the one with the Eve? Let me see. Let me find that. See if I can get that one real quick. But while I'm looking for that, I'm going to say something, right? That last part, right, as we read them, I don't know if y'all got it the way I got it, but I kind of understand why we were punished. Well, I know why we were punished. First, we broke his laws and stuff like that. We wouldn't keep his ways. But secondly, all this hell that we going through, there is a learning from this. Because I guarantee you, when everything's said and done, we will never, ever, and I mean never, fix our damn face to praise nothing but the Most High. And with all this going on, you will actually respect what he done. Like, at this point, if you look at the people and I'm talking about our people, like, you look and you see they don't have no respect. They don't even appreciate what they got now. They want more. You know what I'm saying? So that was just something interesting that I read, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. All right, y'all. So let me get in this part 3. And if I don't find it in here, I'll do another reading. But y'all gotta let me know y'all want me to do it. All right. So here we go. Chapter 3: the destruction and recreation. So the Most High destroyed. See how they lied to us? Let's go. It is unknown, and the story comes down from ancient times, that there was not one creation, but two, a creation and a recreation. It is a fact known to the wise that the earth was utterly destroyed once, then reborn on the second wheel of creation. At the time of the great destruction of earth, God caused a dragon out of heaven to come and encompass her about. The dragon was frightful to behold. It lashed its tail and breathed out fire and hot coals, and a great catastrophe was inflicted upon mankind. The body of the dragon was wrapped in a cold, bright light, and beneath on the belly was a ruddy hue glow, while behind it trailed a flowing tail of smoke. Didn't I tell you? I told y'all it was a dragon. That the destroyer is a big ass dragon. I told y'all, made of fire and smoke. I told y'all, but nobody want to listen to me. Y'all think it's a damn planet. We'll see. All right. Can you get me? Could you get in there? I didn't even know this white woman lived here, y'all. There's a white woman right here. Jeez. These white people, they come here and they get their little garages and stay away from us niggas. But go ahead. All right. So, what was I? Okay. It spewed out cinders of hot stones, and its breath was foul and stenchful, poisoning the nostrils of men. Its passage caused a great thundering and lightning to rend thick darkened skies, all heaven and earth being made hot. The sea was loosened loosened from their cradles and rose up, pouring across the land. There was an awful shrilling, trumpeting, which outpowered even the howling of the unleashed winds. Man stricken with terror went mad at the awful sight in the heavens. They were loosed from their senses and dashed about crazed, not knowing what they did. The breath was sucked from their bodies. I'm gonna make sure I tell everybody, Miss, I'm gonna make sure I tell everybody not to block the driveway. Nobody didn't know people was parking in there. No problem. She looked like she was scared as shit. I'm trying to tell her, make sure I tell everybody on the block not to park in front of her driveway, but whatever. Trying to be nice, you know. But all right, where was I at? Lucent, how long? Okay. Showing tempting, power even. Okay. Unleashed winds. All right. Man stricken with terror went mad at the awful sight in the heavens. They were loosed from their senses and dashed about crazed, not knowing what they did. The breath was sucked from their bodies, and they were burnt with a strange ash. Then it passed, leaving earth unwrapped with a dark and glowing mantle, which was ruddily lit up inside. The bowels of the earth were torn open in great wreathing upheavals, and the howling whirlwind rent the mountains apart. The wrath of the sky monster was loose in the heavens. It lashed about in flaming fury, roaring like 1,000 thunders. It poured down fiery destruction amid the welter of thick black blood. So awesome was the fearful expected thing that the memory mercifully departed from men. His thoughts were smothered under a cloud of forgetfulness. The earth vomited forth great gusts of foul breath from the awful mouths opening up in the midst of the land. The, the evil breath bit at the throat before it drove men mad and killed them. Those who did not die in this manner were smothered under a cloud of red dust and ashes, or were swallowed or were swallowed by the yawning mouth of earth and crushed beneath crashing rocks. The first sky monster was joined by another, which swallowed the tail of the one going before. But the two could not be seen at once. The sky monster reigned and raged above earth, doing battle to possess it. But the many-bladed sword of God cut them in pieces, and their falling bodies enlarged the land and the sea. Interesting. In this manner, the first earth was destroyed by calamity descending from out of the sky. The vaults of heaven were opened to bring forth monsters more fearsome than any that ever haunted the uneasy dreams of men. So that's interesting to know, y'all. So when the Most High cracks the sky, it's going to be more than just water. It tells you when the vaults of earth is open, it brings forth monsters. Shit you ain't never seen before. That's so scary. It just, Wow. Men in their dwelling places were gone. Only sky boulders. You hear that? Sky boulders. Sky boulders. And red earth remained. Where once they were but amidst all the desolation of few survived. For man is not easily destroyed. They crept out from the caves and came down from the mountainsides. Their eyes were wide and their limbs trembled. Their bodies shook and their tongues lacked control. Their faces were twisted and the skin hung loose on their bones. They were as madding wild beasts, driven into an enclosure before flames. They knew no law, being deprived of all the wisdom they once had, and those who had guided them were gone. The earth only true altar of God had offered up a sacrifice of life and sorrow to atone for the sins of mankind. Man had not sinned indeed, but in the things he had failed to do. Man suffered not only for what he does, but for what he fails to do. He is not chastised for making mistakes, but for failing to recognize and rectify them. The great canopy of dust and cloud, which encompassed the earth, enshrouding it in heavy darkness, was pierced by ruddy light, and the canopy swept down in great cloudbursts and raging storm waters. Cool moon tears were shed for the distress of earth and the woes of men. When the light of the sun pierced the earth's shroud, bathing the land in its revitalizing glory, the earth again knew night and day. For there were now times of light and times of darkness. The smothering canopy rolled away. After I finish this paragraph, I'm going to say something. The smothering canopy rolled away, and the vaults of heaven became visible to man. The foul air was purified, and new air clothed the reborn earth, shielding her from the dark, hostile void of heaven. This actually confirms something that's in the Bible, because it tells you you're not going to know if it's day or night. And the day of the Most High, the day of the Lord, it says you ain't gonna know if it's day or night, and it just literally told you that it began to be night and day. You knew if it was night and day, so that means it's probably just a red, ruddy sky. Period. Why this is happening? So yeah, and that actually is in the scripture where it tells you that. So I'm just letting y'all know this. What I'm reading is actually being confirmed. The rainstorms ceased to beat upon the face of the land, and the waters stilled their turmoil. The earthquakes no longer tore the earth open, nor was it burned and buried by the hot rocks. The land masses were reestablished in stability and solidity, standing firm in the midst of the surrounding waters. The oceans fell back to their assigned places, and the land stood steadily upon its foundation. The sun shone upon the land and sea. The life was renewed upon the face of the earth. Rain fell gently once more, and clouds of fleece floated across the dark skies. The water was purified, the sediments sank, and life increased in abundance. Life was renewed, but it was different. Man survived, but he was not the same. The sun was not as it had been, and the moon had been taken away. Man stood in the midst of renewal and regeneration. He looked up into the heavens above in fear for the awful powers of destruction lurking there. Henceforth, the placid skies would hold a terrifying secret. Man found the new earth firm and the heavens fixed. He rejoiced, but also feared, for he lived in dread that the heavens would again bring forth monsters and crash about them. When man came forth from their hiding places and refuges, the world their fathers had known was gone forever. The face of the land was changed, and the earth was littered with rocks and stones, which had fallen down when the structure of heaven collapsed. Y'all hear that, right? The face of the land was changed, and the earth was littered with rocks and stones, which had fallen when the structure of heaven collapsed. So it's telling you the sky got rocks and shit up in it. What you would call the firmament. One generation groped in the desolation and gloom, and as the thick darkness was dispelled, its children believed they were witnessing a new creation. Time passed, memory dimmed, and the record of events was no longer clear. Generation followed generation, and as the ages unfolded, new tongues and new tales replaced the old. All right, y'all. That was an hour and a half of me talking and reading. So, if y'all want me to continue, you have to let me know. If you want me to continue like what I've been doing, help a brother out, donate. I'm not asking, I'm just asking for a little help, because sometimes I can take, I don't have to go do a job. I can take a day off and spend time sitting out in my car reading. Like today, I supposed to have went and did something, but I'm burnt out. I slept all day. When I did this video, I literally just got out the shower and came outside. I've been in the house all day. I was burnt out. I really was. I'm just too tired. Killing myself. So I'm, tired of this mess. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed that. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all want me to keep going? Hey, help brother out. That's all I'm asking. And let me know if y'all want me to read the other one. Let me see what the other one is called. So the one I just read was the destruction and recreation. The next one is the affliction of God. And then there's another one called the beginning. The next one after that is Dedam and Loed. And number 7 is Herthu, the son of the first father. And then it's Waniva, that's the 8th. And then that's it. And then we go into the book of gleanings. So, and I already read the flood of Atuma and the deluge. So, that's in the book of gleanings. So, y'all let me know. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Shalom, my brothers and sisters. Shalom.